What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, Professor MIMS, aka Professor Make It Make Sense. And today I'm bringing you an entertainment story revolving around actress Tracee Ellis Ross, who recently appeared on a podcast with Michelle Obama and Craig Robinson. But before I continue the story, please don't forget, like and subscribe to the content. Every view, comment tremendously helps the channel, so I appreciate the love. Now, let's jump right into it. So, Tracee Ellis Ross was just on the IMO podcast, and she was sharing her perspective on dating and relationships. And she expressed a preference for her dating younger men, and she attributed it to openness and emotional availability she often finds in dating younger men. And then on the contrast, she said her experience with men her age or older, she described as often having toxic masculinity and adhering to a traditional rigid relation norms. So she emphasized her unwillingness to feel controlled or treated as a possession, her experiences she encountered in her past relationships. She also acknowledged that she had occasional feelings of grief over not having married or having children, but she did stress that she would not settle for the wrong partner, valuing relationships that enhance her life. So, without further ado, I'm going to play the clip that she basically lamented her whole situation and where she's come at this point of her life. So, let's go ahead and play the audio right now.
And you know, as much as grief does surface for me around not having children and not having a partner, I still wouldn't want the wrong partner.
That's a great point for people to hear.
I'm not interested in that. You have to make my life better. It can't just be, you know, I'm in a relationship to be in a relationship. So even though the grief does emerge and that comes and I hold that, I think of what I've done, and I woke up every morning trying to do my best. Mm-hmm. I didn't wake up one morning and be like, I'm going to mess this day up.
That's right.
So I must be where I'm supposed to be. And I don't know, sometimes I think of all of the things I've done, the courage that I've had to have, and what I've had to learn how to navigate as a single person with no one to hide behind. Yeah. And it's built a really beautiful experience around me. And I have incredible friends.
So there you have it. That was Tracee Ellis Ross basically going over the fact that she definitely laments choosing her career over her family. Now, the one thing she did say that I agree with before I really go in on a couple other things that I disagree with is I do agree with one thing she said. She said she's not going to basically settle and just choose anyone just for the sake of doing it. Now, I absolutely agree with that, because at that point, you're starting a family with someone you're not in love with, someone who you could potentially end up divorcing anyway, just because you were never in love with them and you just basically partner with them just to start a family. Now, having said that, the part of her life that a lot of these modern women are struggling with is they're ignoring their maternal instinct. So when you choose your career over starting a family, especially at an early age when you're in your prime years, this is typically what happens. Tracee Ellis Ross is now 52 years old. Doesn't look like she'll be having any of her, it doesn't look like she'll be bearing her own children. So that part of her life is pretty much over. Now, she can always adopt, so that's not an issue that she could to be a mother. But as far as having her own children, that part of her life is pretty much over. As far as her partner, the one thing that it's still to this day kind of is funny to me that even modern women that say that they love being boss women and independent and moving however they want, they still innately want a man that's superior to them in every facet. And when I say superior, I'm not talking about in value that the man is better than her. I'm talking about in terms of women look at their men, they want them to lead. They want them to provide provision, protection, you know, and in a lot of ways, women actually value experience in men, and men value inexperience in women. If you don't believe me, and again, I'm generally speaking, but this is just the way it is. It's innately programmed in our DNA to be this way. So that's why a lot of times career women, they get all these achievements, but they still don't feel fulfilled. And the main reason why is because it's in your DNA. There's always exceptions, but it's in a woman's DNA that she feels the most fulfilled she'll ever feel through having children and family and a partner. So, and Tracee Ellis Ross, I don't know if she can quite articulate it the way I just did, but that's really why she's saying she feels grief. And she even tried to, towards the end of the soundbite, break it down as, oh, well, I still have a lot of friends and this and that. But the issue with that is, that's just basically the way she's trying to cope with her circumstances. Now, at the end of the day, if you want to be single and you decide, hey, I don't want to have children or I don't want to have a partner, hey, guess what? It's your life. You do what you want to do. That's what feminism is at its core. It's about choice. But the problem with that is when you make the choice, you have to live with it. So in her case, if she ever is serious about eventually starting a family, if she does adopt a child, then she has to understand, whatever partner you come in your life, you're going to need them to basically take on that paternal role, that fatherly role. And for them to be successful at that, you're going to have to let the man lead. The man that she'll respect will be the one who can come into her life and raise children with, who has more of an authoritative role and not just somebody who's going to lay back and let her just call all the shots. Now, it sounds good on paper because it allows her to keep her control and be able to manipulate the situation. But in reality, she's never going to respect a man who has no backbone and is just going to allow her to run the household. And I know we're in a different time frame now, so that can be a little controversial with certain people. But like I said, gender norms are still very prevalent to this day. I don't care how you try to twist it. Things are the way they are by nature, and they're always going to be that way. So having said that, I'm going to end the video here, but please do me a huge favor. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. As always, I don't care if you agree with me or not. I just really want to see you guys take on it. These are very important topics to have because these are definitely things that are making society a little more unusual, and it's getting to a point where if we really want to ultimately give people good direction, then we need to have these open topics about these situations and circumstances. So as always, like, comment, subscribe, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next video.